So, now it's official. Shamar Stewart is refusing to go to mandatory minicamp. Now, he did go there yesterday, and there's only 2 days left. But it looks like he is leaving, and he is not coming back to it anytime soon. Now, for a rookie player to refuse to go to mandatory minicamp, it's 40 grand per day. So this would be 80 grand total of fines for Shamar Stewart. Now, he is not under contract, so that would, in theory, have to be tacked on once they get a contract worked out. Now, according to what we understand, that can easily be waived if the contract, while talking the contract. So this is a thing where it's like, they could easily waive the 80K, or the Bengals could double down and say, hey, listen, you decided to leave. You're going to have to get charged 80 grand for this once they work out a contract. And you know what? At this point, it's if. At this point, it's an if. It's an if. Because this is toxic. This is beyond toxic. This is beyond just a simple back and forth. And again, listen, at the end of the day, it's not like he was doing anything there. He went to mandatory minicamp and just stood there. He stood there during stretches. He stood there during the process, and he didn't do anything. So I guess in reality, it's like, what's the difference? The only difference is he's not getting fined the 80 grand for missing it. So it's like, instead of getting fined, 120 total if he would have missed the whole thing. So this is now just, instead, he just isn't going to be there and just is going to refuse to show up. So it's, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say at this point when it comes to Shamar Stewart. I do feel bad for him. I do, but at the same time, there's just no, I don't see how this gets resolved in a positive way. I really don't. I mean, he's been public about the team, exposed the front office, has said very negative things about the front office. Obviously, the front office is fluffing him over and not helping him out, right? And again, the front office is to blame. But again, you have to remember the front office, they take things personal and they are very petty. So it's like there's no positivity that's going to end here other than, I even say other than, I don't know. I don't know how this ends in a positive light. It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing across the board. And, I was hoping I would wake up today and hear, oh, Shamar Stewart has signed his contract and everything worked out. Like, I don't even know how the takeaway there is. Like, how is this going to end? It's a question. And, I think back to the Baltimore Colts, right? And when they traded away their quarterback, John Elway, because he refused to play for the Baltimore Colts. He said, I'd rather play pro baseball than play for the Baltimore Colts. And, I don't, that type of thing does not happen often. We saw that with Eli Manning wanting to play for the Giants. He didn't want to play for the team that drafted him. And the whole Philip Rivers situation as well. Like, Drew Brees wanted to leave the Chargers at one point. I don't know. It's just, there's so many situations where it's like, it doesn't happen often. But now I'm starting to kind of put that in my perspective of, what if he wants to be traded? But again, he hasn't signed a contract. So he is no much more a actual player on this team than me or you is. He has not signed a deal. He is not a contracted player of the Cincinnati Bengals. All he has is a paper that says, a theoretical paper that says, you are a part of this team. So it's like, we can't trade him, right? But again, I think you could technically sign him to a deal and then trade him based on that. Like, sign him to a contract, right? Get him signed, but he's signing the contract based on the idea that you're going to trade him. I think they could do that in theory. So say, hey, okay, you're going to sign a rookie contract, and then we're going to trade you over to, this said club or that said club, and if you want to, they can rework your contract. That's the only thing I could think of. And maybe at that point, the Bengals would be okay with accepting whatever he wanted because they know they're going to trade him anyway. And then maybe we trade him and then we get a player in return and it helps us out in the short term. Or not, they're probably going to trade him for a player. For a pick. So, and I don't know who would take a first round pick for him. Now we're going back to the fact of college, right? We're going to say, well, what did he do in college? And then, I don't know. This is so. And again, like I said, it's the front office's fault. It really is. It's not Shamar Stewart's fault, but it's just beyond toxic at this point. So, hopefully things get figured out. That's all I can say at this point. Hopefully things get figured out.